Hi, Andy. Good morning. Good afternoon. Okay, so in the morning session, we discussed about merge operation. At the same time, we discussed about what is a view and what is the purpose of the view. So these are the topics we covered as part of our morning session. Now we'll try to understand what types of the views we are having. So as I told you morning, we are having the three different types of the views. One is the simple view, complex view, and other one is the materialized view. We are having the three types of the views. We'll go one by one. Coming to simple view, if you are going to create any view on top of the single table, such kind of views we can call it as simple view. So what is the meaning of simple view? It's very simple and easy to understand. If you are going to create any view on top of the single table, such kind of views only we can able to call it as a simple view. In the morning session, we discussed about the multiple examples. All those are the simple views or complex views. All those are the simple views because just we are creating it as a create view, view name as select star from EMP table. Now tell me this view we are creating on top of the single table or multiple table? This view we are creating on top of the single table. Such kind of view simply we can able to call it as a simple view. Okay. In the same way, try to give the answer from your side. Any guesses? What is the meaning of the complex view? If we are going to create any view in the combination of more than one table or by using any kind of aggregation logics, such kind of views we can call it as complex views. It's very simple, easy definition study. If you are going to create the view in the combination of more than one table, or if you are going to create the views on top of the aggregate function, such kind of views only we can able to call it as nothing but complex views. But what is the example we can able to give for this? See, for example, just I will take one example from here. So please see this query and try to understand, is there any possibility to simplify this query? Just observe. I am doing the union between the three different tables, x_10 table, x_20 table, x_30 table. In between these three tables, I am applying the union. On top of that, we are writing a subquery. Tell me what type of subquery it is?
Inline subquery.
It's a inline subquery. Whenever we are writing a subquery with the help of the from statement, such kind of subqueries, we can able to call it as a inline subquery. After that, what I'm doing, I'm applying the join on top of the y. Then I'm giving the join condition. This whole thing is a single query. After that, again, what I'm doing, I'm applying the union all. Next in the next query, what I'm doing, again, if you observe, I am applying the union between x_10, x_20, x_30. Again, on top of that, we are given the inline subquery. Again, we are applying the join. We are giving the join condition. Again, if you see, we are applying the union all. Again, we are going to perform the same operation one more time. Union between x_10, x_20, x_30. On top of that, we are going to perform this operation. Now, if you observe here, in this whole query, unnecessarily which operation we are repeating? Any guesses? Which operation we are repeating unnecessarily? If you see this operation, select star x_10 union star x_20 star from x_30. This is the same query I'm using here. Same query I'm using here also. Same query I'm using here. Indirectly, same query we are writing how many number of times and in this whole query? Same query you are writing 3 number of times. Now, I want to simplify this query. So what I will do here is, just I will create a view like this. Create view. I'm giving view name is x_v as, I'm giving it as. So I'm creating the view like this. So what is the view I'm creating here? I am creating the view called as create view x_v as select star from x_10, select star from x_20 and select star from x_30. For this whole logic, I am creating a view like this. Now I want to change this query. How I can able to change this query?
Remove the...
Just what I will do here is, now this whole logic where we are having, on top of this whole logic, I created a view. What is that view name? I can able to give the view name as x_v. I'm giving ls name is, for example, x. Okay, what I'm doing indirectly, whatever the logic we are having in the previous query, I replace this whole logic into one of the view only. Now, as part of writing my query, what I'm doing here, instead of writing this whole logic here, just I'm giving it as a select star from x_v. I'm giving ls name is x. Here also what I'm doing, instead of giving this whole thing, I will give it as a select star from x_v. I'm giving ls name as x. Okay. Now observe here. This query is looking like simple or this query is looking like simple?
The
Below one is looking like simple, but are we doing any modification on the logic? On the logic side, we are not doing any modification. Only what we are doing here is whatever the repetitive logic we are having. This is the repetitive logic. How many times we are using this logic? Here we are using, here I'm using, here I'm using. In the same query, I am using this logic 3 number of times. Instead of writing the same logic multiple number of times, what I did here, I included this entire logic on top of a view. What is the view I given here? Create view name as this entire logic I given on top of my select statement. Now indirectly in this view, it is going to have data for all these 3 tables. Now as part of writing the query, what I can do here, instead of writing this complete logic, just I can able to replace the complete logic with the help of the x underscore v, and here also x underscore v, here also x underscore v. With this, what is going to happen? Query writing will become very easy. Query understanding also will become very easy. And now tell me, this query is looking like very simple, or this query is looking like a simple query? Below one is looking like very simple. Now, what is the meaning of x underscore v? It will go to the view definition. In the view definition, it will take the data from the 10 table, 20 table, and 30 table. With that, it is going to provide the data. But in this whole example, you need to understand, as part of creation of this view, we are using the single table, single view, or we are using the multiple views? We are using the multiple tables. As part of creation of this view, we are using the multiple tables. Now, you tell me, this view can be called as a simple view, or we are calling it as a complex view?
Complex.
We are calling it as a complex view only. Whatever the topics morning we discuss, everything is applicable on top of this complex view also. Only thing is nothing but, instead of creating the view on top of the single table, we are going to create the view on top of the multiple tables by depending on the requirement. Such kind of views only we can able to call it as a complex view. In our example, if you are not going to use the complex view, what is happening here? This query looks like a very clumsy query. Instead of that, if we are going to use the complex view, what will happen? This query we can able to understand very easily. That is the advantage we can able to see on top of the complex views as part of our real-time projects. Okay. Any questions up to here? Please ask me.
Sir, what about the optimizations? View, by using view, it will take time, or with a direct query, it will take time?
Okay, now you want to tell me. So as part of this example, are we going to see any kind of performance difference? In this whole example, this is the first query and this is the second query. In the second query, I'm using the views only. In the first query, directly I'm using the whole logic. But as part of first query and second query, is there any kind of performance improvement? Or we are going to see the same performance in both queries?
I think both, but my intention is like by using views, it will take some like minimal processing.
No, it is not going to take any kind of extra amount of time. It is going to take the same performance only. In the above query and below query, just what I'm doing here, I am putting my whole logic into the x underscore v. Now tell me, as part of execution of this query, what will happen? It will go to the x underscore v. It need to apply the union between all the 3 tables, and it need to perform the join operation. What about here? Here also same thing is going to happen. Here also same thing is going to happen. From the performance side, there is no difference. If you are going to use the views, or if you are going to use the tables also, performance wise there is no difference, because view is indirectly depending on what again? It is depending on the table only. Okay, that's the reason performance side there you cannot able to see any improvement or any decrease in the performance side. And performance side everything is same only. But in this example, just for simplification of our whole query, I am creating a view. I am creating a complex view. With that, you can able to prepare the query very simply. And as part of reading also, this query will understand very easily. For that reason only, we are creating the complex view. Don't think anything from the performance side. Both queries are going to give the similar kind of performance.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions up to here? Okay, now tell me, for example, if I'm going to create the view like this, create view as select star from customer table C, join with orders table O, C dot custody is equal to O dot custody. Okay. Now tell me what type of view it is. What type of view it is? This is simple view or complex view?
Complex.
It's a complex view, because here we are using the one table or 2 tables. We are
Okay.
using the two different tables and we are applying the join, and for that reason, just we are naming it as a complex view, but don't think that it's a completely separate topic and it's completely related to the view only. If you are going to create the views on top of the single table, that we are calling it as a simple view. But if you are going to create the view on top of the multiple tables, that we can able to call it as a complex view. Okay. In the same way, we'll try to understand what is the meant by materialized views. So far what we have discussed, views are nothing but is kind of virtual table and data not storing physically. What is happening here? Data is not storing physically. But coming to materialized views, what will happen here is our complete definition is going to change here. Just to try to understand this one. This is the one of the important thing. Coming to materialized views, what will happen here is we are going to create views on top of tables only. But in these kind of views, data will store physically. What I'm telling here, we are going to create the views on top of the tables in the materialized views also. But what is going to happen here as part of materialized views only, your data is going to store physically in our internal database system or in the BigQuery storage where data is storing internally. Such kind of views only we are calling it as a materialized views. Now immediately you can able to get the questions. But sorry, if it is storing internally, then why we need to maintain the views? That we'll discuss only. But first try to understand what is the meaning of the materialized view. So what is the materialized view? Is nothing but it's a kind of a view only. But actually, what is the normal definition of the view? View is nothing but it's a kind of a virtual table. But as part of materialized views, what is happening here? Can be called as a virtual table? No, because as part of materialized views, what is going to happen here is it is going to store all the data physically. That's the reason you cannot able to call it as a virtual table. But here question is, on top of materialized views, can we able to perform the DML operations? What I'm telling, your data is storing physically, that is the statement I'm giving. But on top of these materialized views, can we able to perform the DML operations? Morning we discussed only on top of the views, we cannot able to perform the DML operation. Same statement will applicable here also. On top of the materialized views, we cannot able to perform the DML operations. Okay. And on top of these materialized views, we can able to perform DDL operations. Sorry, it's my mistake. Answer is no. DDL operations we can able to perform here. So we can able to say it as yes. On top of materialized views, DML operations we cannot able to perform. But on top of materialized views, by depending on the requirement, what we can do here, you can able to perform the DDL operations. Okay. Now what we need to understand here is, as part of materialized views, if it is going to have same data like table and if it is storing data in storage, why we have to use it? Just observe here, coming to materialized views only, if it is going to have the same data like the table and if it is storing, if it is storing data in the storage, then why we have to use it? It's very simple, just try to understand. For example, I am having the table called as a X table. On top of this, I am creating the view called as a X underscore. Yeah, so what I'm doing here, I'm creating the view called as a X underscore MV and which is nothing but materialized view. Now, whatever data we are loading into X table, that data will reflect into materialized views. Whatever the data we are loading into the X table, same data will reflect into the materialized views. For example, in this X table, I am having the 5 columns and I am having, for example, 5 records. Now, if you are going to create the materialized view, what will happen here also, you can able to see the 5 columns and you can able to see the 5 records. Okay, but what is the difference here? As part of creation of the materials view, as I told you, what is going to happen here? It will store data physically. It is storing all the data physically. Then why we are going to create the materials views? What is the main purpose of the views, Andy? To hide the particular number of the columns or to hide the data from the table, we are going to use the views. Now coming to here, materials views also we are going to use for the same reason, but only what is the difference here? In the materials views, instead of having the virtual table, it is going to store all the data in the physical way. That's the reason only we are calling it as a materials views. If you are going to create the normal view, what is going to happen? It is not going to store the data in the internal storage system. But if you are going to create the materials views, what is going to happen here? It is going to store all the data in the physically, and that data is going to use as part of querying our data. Now, for example, if I'm going to give the query like this, select star from x_mp. Now tell me what will happen. From where it will fetch the data? It will fetch the data from the table, or it will fetch the data from the materialized view. It will fetch the data from the directly materialized view, and because already this materialized view I having the data physically in the storage system. That's the reason if you are going to find this kind of query, what will happen here? It is going to take all the query from the materialized view only. It is not going to use the data from the table. Okay. Now, if you see the previous example, if you see the previous one, the complex view example, in this example, what we are doing? I am going to use the view, but is it a materialized view or is it a complex view? It's a complex view. Now you tell me, as part of this complex view, this whole logic we are running how many number of times? This logic we are running how many number of times? We are running it in the 3 times only. Now, for example, what I will do here is, instead of creating it as a normal view, I will create it as a materialized view. For example, what is going to happen? I am creating it as a materialized view. I'm giving it as a create materialized view name as I'm giving this whole query. Now, if I am going to create this view, what will happen? View will create and data will store physically. Okay. Now, on top of this view, now what I will do here is I will run this query. Now try to give the answer. What is going to happen? Can we be able to see the good performance, or here we are going to see the bad performance, or we are going to see the same performance? Good or bad or same performance? Here I can able to say, here we are going to see the good performance. What's the reason?
Because the memory is separated for that. Already
we created the materialized view here. This materialized view is having the virtual data, or this materialized view is having the physical data. This is having the physical data. Now, when I am going to fire this query, again, is it going to perform the union operation, or directly from the physical data, it will fetch the data? Directly from the physical data, it will fetch the data. On top of the data, it is going to apply the join. What about here? Here also I'm using the same materialized view. Again, what is going to happen? Again, it is going to the physical storage. From there, it is going to fetch the data. On top of the data, it is going to perform the join operation. Here also, it is going to the physical storage. From there, it is going to fetch the data. Now, indirectly, in this whole example, from the creating the view to running this query, and how many number of times this logic is going to run? Only one time. When that is running? When you are creating the view, during that point of time, only this union logic is running. With that, it is storing this whole data into the physical storage. Now, when I am going to run this query, what will happen? From the physical storage, it is trying to fetch the data. With that, this whole execution is going to happen for this query only one time. But in the previous example, in the complex view example, how many number of times this logic is going to run? This logic is going to run how many number of times? Whatever the number of times you are going to use this view in your query, those many number of times this logic is going to run. And for example, this logic is running for 5 minutes. So what will happen? Here, this query will run for 5 minutes. This query will run for 5 minutes. This query will run for 5 minutes. And complete query will take for 1 or 2 minutes. With that, this whole query will complete in 17 to 80 minutes. But coming to this example, within how much time this query will execute? In this example, as part of creation of the materialized view, might be it is taking 5 minutes of time to complete the logic. And after that, here already you are having the physical data. From the physical data, it is going to fetch the data immediately, and it will apply the join. Next, it is going to take the physical data in the second query also. In the third query also, it is going to take the physical data. With that, what will happen? This whole query can able to complete within 5 to 10 minutes, or we can able to say 5 to 8 minutes only. So whenever you want to simplify the logic, or whenever you are going to use the same logic multiple number of times, and if you want to physicalize the data in the situation, what we can do here, simply we are going to use the concept called as a materialized reviews only. This is the extra advantage we are having on top of the materialized reviews. Whatever the topics we discussed in the morning, everything is applicable on top of your materialized reviews also. But we need to add only one more extra statement. What is the statement? Whenever we are going to use the materialized reviews, it is going to store the data physically. For that reason, as part of dealing with the same logic multiple number of times only, then you can able to create the materialized review. With that, what we can do here, we can able to improvise the query performance. This is the way simply we can able to understand what is the purpose of the materialized review on top of our database system. Okay. Any questions again up to here, please ask me.
Sir, having two questions, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, one is like materialized view is nothing but create only at the time of session and it will be terminated once done, right?
No, correct. No, wrong answer. It will be available always.
So it will be
If
available.
you are, see, for example, if you are going to create it as a temporary table, and this actually in the database, we are having the concept called as a temporary table. If you are going to create it as a temporary table, that will be available only within the session.
Oh, virtual or temporary. Yeah, correct.
Okay. But if you are going to create the materialized views, that data would be permanent. It's not a kind of a temporary storage.
So for that, one more on that one. So if it's a permanent one, how it will be updated every time when the main table is updated?
Yeah, that's the next topic we are going to discuss. And on top of this materialized review, what we will do here is we are going to perform the refresh operation.
Okay.
This is the next topic I'm going to cover. Okay, because in the materialized review, first time you are going to create. So first time it is going to have, for example, 30 records, and this data is storing physically. Now coming to second day, in my tables, if I'm having the 40 records, what need to happen? In the materialized review also, we need to update the data. How we are going to perform that updation? We need to run the refresh command. With the help of the refresh command only, it will able to update the data on top of your materialized reviews that we are going to cover in next 5 minutes only.
Okay. And both are done, sir. Clear.
Okay. Any other questions up to here?
In materialized view, do we have to have all the columns, sir? Because
that depends on it. No. Just I'm giving the example as a star only. But if you want to deal with the only particular columns, you can give only those particular columns as part of your select statement. See, whenever we are dealing with the select statement, by depending on your convenience, either you can give it as a star or we can able to specify the particular columns by depending on our requirement. Here, just for example, I'm giving it as a star. But for example, from this table, you want to deal with only 1 or 2 columns only. You can able to specify only those 2 columns as part of your select statement. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes,
in
sir,
real
yes,
time,
yes.
which views we are using, sir?
Yeah, sorry, in the real time, please repeat the question.
Which view we will use?
That depends on the requirements, right? So actually, now you will tell me why we came to the materialized review in this example.
So
To improve the
physical
performance. Okay, to improve the performance by storing the data physically, we came to the materialized review. Now, for example, in our project, if you are dealing with this kind of logic or if you are dealing with kind of complex logic, and if there is any possibility to create the materialized review on top of that complex logic, then you can go ahead with the materialized reviews. But what about the normal views, Andy? When we are going for the normal views? Whenever you want to hide the data from the table or whenever you want to hide the columns from the table as per the requirement, then you can go for the normal views. Is it clear?
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah, please.
In materialized views, if the data is storing physically, why can't we perform the DML operations then?
See, if you are going to perform the DML operations on top of this materialized review, now you tell me, your data is coming from which tables here? X_10, X_20, and X_30. Now, on top of the tables, you are creating this view. Am I right? On top of the table, you are going to create the materialized review. Now, for example, if you are going to perform any DML operations or if you are updating the data in the view, will it reflect on top of the tables?
No.
No,
right?
it will not.
Then indirectly, you tell me, in between the table and view, you are having the sync data, you are having the non-sync data. You are going to have the non-sync data. That's the reason they are not allowing any kind of update operations on top of your materialized reviews. Is it clear? If you are going to perform any kind of updates on top of this materialized review, indirectly, there is non-sync between the table data and materialized review data. In the situation, we cannot able to perform any kind of refresh operation. That's the reason they are not allowing any kind of DML operations on top of your materialized review also. Hope it is clear. Okay. Offline people, any questions?
This materialized is a keyword, sir. Now, while creating the
yes, a keyword only, correct. Just we have to give that. So for normal views, no need to give the materialized keyword. But if it is a materialized view, we have to give it as a create materialized view. That's the keyword we have to give.
Okay. We have any views like authorized views, sir? I hear somewhere, but
Yeah, see, whatever the views above we discussed, those are nothing but authorized views only, right? So what we are doing, we are controlling the access. Whenever you are
Okay.
controlling the access, that we can able to call it as a authorization. So whatever the simple view or whatever the complex view we discussed, Randy, those only we can able to call it as a authorized views. So there is no separate topic called as a authorized views. What morning we discussed, right? So what is the purpose of the view? For the purpose of hiding the data or for the purpose of hiding the columns. Indirectly, we are controlling the authorization on top of your data. That's the reason those views only we can able to call it as authorized views. Okay, any other questions? Offline people?
So how is this?
So in the real time, we
No,
can
one
tell
second.
us.
No, 1 second. Offline people are asking one question. Just wait for 1 minute.
Creating a table means for physical data.
Yes,
The same time materializing you also is.
visualization data.
And what is the core difference between those?
Yeah, so actually as part of here, what I'm doing,
Components or-
one is the performance, another one is on top of this view, what we can do, we can able to limit the number of columns, right? So in the table, you have to maintain data for all the columns, but on top of materialized view, what we can do here, you can able to control only the required columns only. That is the one main difference we can able to say between the normal table to our materialized view here, because both are going to store the data physically, but in the table compulsory, we have to maintain data for all the columns for further usage. But coming to materialized view, why we are using to simplify the complex logic to the simple logic, we are using the materialized view. As part of this process, really do we need to maintain all the columns, or we can able to maintain only particular columns? We can able to maintain only the particular column. That is the difference we can able to give between the table and our materialized view. Is it clear? Okay. Yeah, online people, please continue now. You are asking something. If someone is trying to ask the question, I stopped you. So please continue now.
No, sir. The zones, authorized view is a zone we can consider, sir.
1 second.
Like visualization zone we discussed. SZ to VZ we taken, right?
Yeah, so I know Andy. So I think you are from the old batch. I think in the old batch.
No,
you
no,
have-
not all. I am using that actually here
Okay,
in my.
yeah, I can able to say, so in the, actually we discussed about the visualization zone in the previous classes, Sunday. In the visualization zone, what we are maintaining, tables or views, as we discussed in the previous classes. In the visualization zone, we are going to maintain all the views. What is the purpose of the view? Again, as I explained you, to hide the columns or to hide the data, we are going to use the views only. These views only what we can able to call if you want. We can able to call it as an auth views also, because with the help of the views, we are controlling the authorization. For that reason, those views only we can able to call it as authorization views. Or if you want, we can able to say in the visualization zone, we are going to maintain the authorized views. Or you can able to call this is the separate layer on top of your BigQuery. Instead of calling it as a visualization zone, you can able to say this is the zone we are maintaining as part of our end-to-end process in our project. That is the way also you can able to explain. But everywhere we are going to apply the same concept only. If you are calling it as authorized views, or if you are calling it as a normal views, both are nothing but same only. Don't think that we are going to have the separate views called as authorized views only. Whatever the views we are discussing, that is nothing but authorized views only. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see in this whole example, if you observe here, if you no questions, now we are creating the materialized view. We are creating the materialized view here. Now we are creating this materialized view on day 1. Okay. Now, for example, coming to day 2, in S_10, for example, 5 records are added. In S_20, for example, 5 records are added. And in X_30, for example, 5 records are added. Just assume that. Okay. Now on day 1, we are creating the materialized view here. Now, as part of creation of the materialized view, what is happening here? It is storing all the physical data. Now coming to day 2, in all these 3 tables, we added the 555 records only. Now if I am going to give the query, select star from X_V. Now, will it replicate these 15 records into the output?
No,
Try to give the answer.
no, sir.
No.
It was a physical.
If it is a normal view, if
It
it is a
will be
normal view, it
reflected.
is replicating because we are giving the select star from the table. If it is a normal view, your data is storing in the virtually only. Whenever you are going to fire the query on top of the normal views, it is going to the view definition. In the view definition, we are having the table. From that table, whatever the data we are having, that data is coming on top of your output. But coming to here, is it a virtual table or is it a kind of a physicalized data? It's a physicalized data, which is nothing but if you are adding any kind of data on top of your tables only, will it add the data automatically to the materialized views? Obviously, no. For that reason, what we have to do here is, by depending on our requirement, we need to refresh the materialized views. By depending on our requirement, what we are going to do here, we are going to refresh the materialized views. And so in some projects, what will happen is, they will refresh this view on daily basis. In some projects, they will refresh it on hourly basis, by depending on the project requirements. And so what is going to happen, we are going to refresh the view, and you only try to give the answer, or you only try to understand why we are going to refresh the materialized views. Here we are going to maintain the virtual data, we are going to maintain the physical data. You are going to maintain the physical data, which is nothing but, as part of creation of this view, whatever the tables we are using, if any data added on top of the table, what need to happen? That data should replicate on top of your materialized view also. But how it can able to replicate? Someone has to perform the refresh operation. That's the reason, on top of the materialized views, we are going to perform the refresh operations. And but tell me, on top of normal views, are we going to perform refresh operations? Yes or no? Simply answer is no. What's the reason? Because these are the kind of virtual tables. And whenever you are going to fire the query on top of the normal view, it will go to the view definition. In the view definition, what we are having, within the view definition, you are creating the view on top of the table. Directly it will go to the table. From the table, it will fetch the data. That data will be coming on top of your output. But coming to materials review, what is the problem? That data is storing physically. That's the reason, if any changes are happening on top of your source table, it should not reflect automatically on top of your materials reviews. And for that reason, to replicate the data from the source table to your materialized views, what operation we have to perform here? We need to perform the refresh operation. With the help of the refresh, we can able to refresh the data on top of your materialized views. This is the way simply we can able to understand what is the purpose of materialized views and how it is going to work in our internal system. Okay. Again, any questions up to here, please ask me. If no questions, I will ask the questions. And what is your view? That's the main topic, right?
Virtual table.
It's a virtual table. What is the purpose of the views?
To like
hide the columns or
control
to hide the
model.
data on top of your table, we can go for the views. Okay. Now, for example, you are going to work in the real-time project as an end user. On top of which objects you are going to provide the control? To the end users, on top of which object you are going to provide the control? On top of the views only we are going to provide the control. And as an end user, we are not given the access to the table, we are giving access on top of the views. Okay. And when we are giving the access on top of the views, while giving access on top of the views, what we are controlling here?
Controlling the
We are controlling columns, and also we are controlling
data
by depending on what?
requirement.
By depending on obviously requirement, because you don't know which columns we need to control, you don't know which data we need to control, and everything you need to get from the requirement document only. In the requirement, they will specify, create this view by using only these columns, create this view only by using this data. That kind of requirements we are going to get. Based on that, we are going to create the views, and based on that, we are going to give the access to the end user on top of that view. By using that, they are going to perform the analysis. Not only end users only, here I can able to say, to our reporting team also. So what is meant by reporting team? We are loading all the summarized data, or we are loading all the aggregated data on top of your target tables or target views. And after that, what need to happen? Your reporting team will come into the picture. They are going to create the reports on top of our data. But as part of this process, what they will do here, they will also going to access the only views. For them also, we are not going to give the control on top of the table. End user is nothing but your business people, or ML team, or AI team, or reporting team. All these people comes under the end users. For all these people, what we are doing here, we are just providing the views only. On top of the views only, we are going to do all the kind of activities, or we are controlling every access on top of the views. That's the reason views are going to play very important role as part of our real-time projects. And one more last important thing, if you are going to work in the real time, most of the times we are going to see either simple views or complex views only. I can able to say from my experience, and I'm having total 18 years of experience. out of my 18 years of experience, so far, I haven't used the materialized views. It's an open statement. Because in my project, I don't have any such kind of requirements, and very rarely we are going to use the materialized views. From my side, I can able to say I have used the materialized views as part of my whole project or as part of my whole experience. I have used the materialized views, but as part of interviews, might be they will ask the questions on the materialized view just to understand how much knowledge you are having on the views. They are asking some kind of interview questions. For that reason only, I am trying to explain about this topic as part of our classes. But if you are going to work in the real time, most of the time on which views we are working? We are going to work on the simple views or we are going to work on the complex views as part of our real-time projects. Okay. Any questions?
Sir,
Yes,
maybe
sir,
I have. Yeah, please go ahead.
okay, continue.
So actually, sir, I didn't see that refresh query. So still
Yes,
not.
it's not a directly refresh
Okay.
query. So here we have to give the, I will show you the comments here. Just 1 second.
Okay.
So in the BigQuery, if you want to create the materialized view, this is the way we have to create it. So see, what's the options we are having? Create, materialized, view, view name. Syntax wise, everything same on the. Just forgot about this line for a few minutes. If you observe the remaining thing, create, view, view name as select star from the table where I'm giving some kind of condition. Syntax wise, everything same. Only thing is nothing but just what we are adding. We are adding the materialized keyword. With that, we can able to create the view. Okay. Now in the BigQuery, they're given the option like this. And if you see, this is the option. What they are giving, they're given the option called as a enable refresh is equal to true. What is the meaning of the statement? You try to give the answer. On top of this materialized view, you want to perform the refresh operation. If you want to perform the refresh operation, just we need to give the option called as a enable refresh is equal to true. For example, if you don't want to perform any kind of refresh operation, then what I can do, simply give it as a false. If I'm giving the false, what will happen? On top of this materialized view, you cannot able to perform any kind of refresh operation. And by depending on your requirement, you can able to enable this option. For example, if you want to refresh the data here, we have to give it as a true. This is first thing. Second thing, you have to specify in what interval of the time you want to perform the refresh operation. You want to do this every hour or every day or every 2 days, and that information we need to provide. Where we can give that information? This is the second argument. If you see second argument, refresh interval minutes. Here what we have to give? You have to specify the time in the minutes, and every 5 minutes I want to do the refresh, or every 10 minutes I want to do the refresh. For example, every 1 day you want to do the refresh, then what we have to do? 24 into star 60, whatever the value we are getting, those many number of minutes we have to give here. With that, what will happen? It will perform the refresh operation after the 1 day. So like that, whenever you want to perform the refresh operation, then what we can do here? Just we need to give this kind of arguments and options. Enable refresh is equal to true, and we are given the interval time. In what time you want to perform the refresh? All that information we are giving within the options. With that, we can able to create the materialized views. Okay. Now see, for example, here I'm given the 5 minutes. What it means indirectly? Every 5 minutes it is going to perform the refresh operation. Now, for example, at 10:05, it refresh the data. Just assume that. At 10:05, data has been refreshed. Now again, next at what time it will refresh? At 10:10, your data will refresh. But my requirement is in between at 10:08, I want to refresh the data. Just assume there is a requirement. In between at 10:08, I want to refresh the data. How we can able to perform this operation? To perform that operation, we need to do the manual refresh. But how we can able to perform the manual refresh? To do that, here they given the one more command called as a refresh materialized view only. So by using this command, simply we can able to refresh the data. Now here, just we have to give it as a call bq.refresh materialized view. Here within the bracket, you need to specify your materialized view name. By using this command, what we can do? Whenever you want, at any point of time, if you want to refresh the data on top of your materialized views only, then we can able to refresh the data on top of your materialized views. But if you want to refresh the data during the particular intervals of the time, then what we can do? Then we can able to use all these kind of options. Okay, by giving this option, every 5 minutes your data is going to refresh, but at a particular point of time, immediately you want to refresh the data, then what we can do? We are going to use a API called as a bq.refresh materialized view only. By using this option, you can able to perform the manual refresh by depending on our requirement. But I am not going to show you all these things practically, Andy, because if you want to do all these kind of practicals, we need to have kind of extra access, and they are charging more money for this operation. Okay, number free trial account. So if you are going to perform this operation, they are charging some extra money, Andy. If you want, you can try all these things. I will share all these queries to you, Andy, just to try to create the view once, just to verify the options and everything. After that, immediately drop that view. If you forgot to drop the view, what will happen?
It will charge us
Every 5 minutes,
continuously.
what will happen? It is
It
performing
will
refresh. Now, for example, you forgot to drop this view for 1 week or 10 weeks, Andy, or 2 weeks, what will happen? Every day, every 5 minutes, it is going to perform the refresh operation on top of your data. If your table is having 10 records or 20 records, every 5 minutes, it is trying to access the 20 records. With that, what will happen? Unnecessarily, our money is going to consume. For that reason, I'm not going to create the view, just to try to understand the concept, that is suffix. But if anyone interested to do the practicals on top of the materialized view, after completion of the class, I will share all the syntaxes, and based on that, you yourself can able to create the materialized view. With that, you can get some kind of clear picture. Is it clear?
Sir,
Yeah, please.
sir, can't we able to enable this refresh option by using orchestration tools?
No, you can enable, but as part of creation of the view only, if you're having this kind of feature, you can able to use it, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is one thing. And for example, if you want to enable this from the orchestration tool, and here instead of create, we have to give it as a create or replace. What's the reason? If you are going to, in the orchestration tool, what we are going to do, we are going to schedule it. For example, already view is there. Coming to second day, if you are going to create the same view, what will happen? It will create and it will give the error. Day one, by using the Airflow or by using the orchestration tool, you created the view. Coming to, whenever we are going to use the orchestration, what will happen? Every day it is going to perform the same operation automatically. Already this view created on the day one. Now coming to second day, if you are going to create the same view one more time, what will happen? It will give the error saying that this view is already available. So for that reason, what I'm saying here is, if you want to do this activity by using the orchestration tool or Airflow only, then here we have to give the command called as a create or replace. With that, you can able to replace the existing view on top of your internal storage. With that, you can able to perform the operation. But in general, we are going to perform this operation with the help of the options only. But coming to your question, I can able to give the answer. You can do this operation by using the orchestration tools also. Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other question still?
Sir, there is any concept related to force view?
Sorry, come again.
Force view.
Source view.
No, force, F-O-R-S-E. F-O-R-S.
I am not aware of this. I didn't heard about this force view. Okay.
So, sir, the create or replace is not necessary, right? Every time we can't hit this one.
That's the reason I'm saying that is, so someone is asking the question, I want to do this operation from the orchestration tool. That's the reason for her, I'm giving the answer create or replace.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you want, you can do it as only create materialized view.
Because
By
they
depending on
are-
your convenience.
Doesn't make any sense, I think.
Yes, correct.
Sir, what is the metadata of this
For which one? This one.
meta table? For storing these views, all details. One table should be there, right? In meta table.
Yeah, correct.
What is that mean?
You are asking in the BigQuery.
In the big queries.
So in the BigQuery also, you are having the schema tables. If you remember, we discussed about one command and it. You have to give it as a database name dot information underscore schema dot. You have to give the columns. Select start from this. So if you are going to give this, what will happen? It will display all the table columns. At the same time, it will display all the view columns also. In the same way, if you want to see the partitions, if you remember, what's the answer? I want to see all the list of the partitions in the table. From where we can able to see that information? I want to see the list of the partitions. So which schema table we have to use? Okay, so this kind of questions only I'm going to ask as part of the mock interview study. So please refresh all your knowledge one more time. Already we discussed about the partitioning. During that time, I explained you where we can able to see the partitions information. We are having the table called as a database name dot information schema dot partitions. There we can able to see the partitions information. In the same way, if you want to see the columns information, we can able to give it as a dot columns only. In this table, you can able to see the all the columns of your tables, all the columns of your views. This table only simply we can able to call it as a metadata table on top of your BigQuery. What about the MySQL? Morning we discussed it. So we are having the INNODB as some table. So by using that table, you can able to see all the metadata on top of the MySQL. Now in the BigQuery, if you want to see the any schema level information, this is the way you can able to frame the query. And if you want to see the columns, go to the columns. And if you want to see the partitions, give it as a partitions. With that, you can able to see metadata or schema of your table. Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Any other questions still? Okay. If no question, just I will try to give one more example.
Sir. Hello.
Please continue.
So actually, this is regarding BigQuery one.
Yeah,
so how the slots will be created? Because I have seen one of the interview question in Google. So while running this BigQuery query, so how the slots are created and how it will be divided? Yeah, Dremel like root.
Where we are having the slots only in the Dremel only we are having the slots. So Dremel will take care of all the slots only. So as part of the query, if you remember, as part of the BigQuery architecture we discussed about, whenever we are going to fire the query, where it will go?
Root.
It will go to your root server. Okay.
Root server,
In the root server, what is going to happen?
It will divide like
parsing.
it will parse. Yes,
parsing will happen, and it will go. It is going to verify the syntax checks and everything. After that, it is going to prepare the plan for the purpose of execution. As part of creation of the plan, it will create the stages and based on the number of the stages, it is going to create the number of slots. Okay, and after completion of all the stages, what will happen? Automatically, all the slots will be deleted.
Once completed. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Just we'll see one more example. Just 1 second. Now, for example, this is the data we are having in the table. Now, my requirement is from this table, I want to get data for fifth highest employee salary data. So what we can do? For example, my requirement here is get employee details of fifth highest salary. Or for example, I'm asking the question, I want to get data for the second highest salary employee data. What we can do, Andy? We discussed about how to get the second highest salary, right? So what we can do?
Select max of salary from EMP where salary
Select max of salary from EMP table where salary not equal to. I'm giving the subquery like this. Select max of salary from EMP table. This is the way we can able to frame the query. But if I'm going to run this query, what will happen? It will give data for the only second highest salary, but I want to get the second highest salary employee details, which is nothing but I want to get the whole data. So what we can do? We can give one more query, select star from. I am giving this whole query within the bracket. Now you tell me this is the what type of subquery? For the from statement, I am passing the subquery. So that is nothing but inline subquery. What is the rule we need to follow for the inline subquery? We have to give the alias name on top of the subquery. Otherwise, that query will throw the error. Indirectly, if you want to get the second highest salary, you have to frame the query like this only. But now my requirement is, for example, you want to get the fifth highest salary. Then what we have to do? You have to write the 5 or 6 number of subqueries. By using that, we can able to achieve the requirement only. But instead of writing that much of complex query in the BigQuery side or in the database side also only, they introduce the kind of the topic called as a window functions. So what we are having the concept called as a window functions. With the help of the window functions, we can able to achieve all these kind of requirements very easily, Andy. So what's the functions we are having? Window functions. With the help of the window functions, we can able to achieve the same requirement. Now here we are having the one of the function called as a rank function. With the help of the rank function, easily you can able to get the rank, and on top of that, you can able to get the data by depending on our requirement. Now here, if you want to write the query by using the rank function.
Sir, before that, can you please explain that query you written?
Which one, Andy? This one?
In Excel sheet. Yes.
This query already we discussed in the previous class, Andy.
Yeah, here we get not equal to maximum cell means maximum cell except maximum cell it will give second, third, fourth.
Yeah, correct. But on top of the data next, what I'm applying here, if you see in the outer query, what I'm applying?
Okay.
I applied the again
2,
max
3,
of
4,
salary.
5.
Yes. So actually,
Maximum.
with the help of the inner subquery, it is taking the first highest salary value as 8,000. If you are given the not equal to except 8,000, it will take all the remaining values. On top of those values, again, I'm going to apply the max of salary. Then what will happen? It will take the value as a 7,000, and that 7,000 data we are getting on top of your output.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay. I think it's my mistake. Select start from EMP, where salary is equal to, this is the way we have to frame the query. Okay, directly we are going to apply the 3 subqueries, and by applying the 3 subqueries, you can able to achieve the requirement. Now, what I'm trying to explain you here is, instead of writing these many number of subqueries in the database set, we are having the concept called as a window functions. And with the help of the window functions, we can able to simplifying the writing of all these kind of SQL queries. So we are having the one of the function called as a rank function. By depending on requirement, if you want to find out rank based on a column, then we need to use rank function. And this is the syntax we need to follow for rank function. We have to give it as rank over order by your column name. We have to give either ascending or descending order by depending on our convenience. And so this is the way we have to give the syntax of the rank function. What we are giving here, rank over order by column name, ascending order or descending order. Now my requirement is, for example, I want to find out ranks based on salary column. Now you try to give the answer. What is the syntax we can able to pass here? Rank of over, after that order by what we can give. We have to give the column name. So I'm giving the column name is nothing but sal. After that, if I'm given the ascending order, what will happen? If I'm going to give the descending order, what will happen? Any guesses? If I'm given the ascending order, what will happen here? If you're given the ascending order, your whole data will be sorting based on the salary column in the ascending order. After that, it is given the output as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like this. Now tell me, with the help of this first query, what is going to happen? For the least salary, it is given the highest rank because you given the order as a ascending. Now, for example, if I'm given the descending, then what will happen? It will take value as a 1, 2, 3. Now, what is going to happen indirectly? For the highest salary, it is given the rank value as a 1 and D. So this is the way, by depending on your requirement, either you have to give it as a ascending order or you have to give it as a descending order. For example, my requirement is get first min salary from the table. Then what we have to do? We need to apply the descending or we need to apply the ascending in this situation. Here we have to apply the ascending. If you are having the requirement like this, then we can go for the query like this only. Now, for example, my requirement is I want to get first highest salary. Then what we can do? Then same function we can able to use, but here instead of giving the ascending, we have to give it as a descending. This is the way, by depending on your requirement, either you can able to get the highest salaries or you can able to get the lowest salaries by using the same rank function. But only thing is nothing but here we have to give it as an order by clause. In the order by clause, you have to give either ascending or descending. If I'm given the ascending, it is going to give the minimum salaries. If I'm going to give the descending, it is going to provide the highest salaries. And by depending on your requirement, you have to frame the queries. Okay, we'll try to run these examples. With that, you can able to get a clear picture. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm giving the sample table to you, so please try to create this sample table. Just for doing the practice on top of our Windows functions, and we are having the multiple Windows functions like rank, dense rank, sum, like this. We are having the multiple Windows functions. We'll try to understand all those Windows functions today. To understand that, please create the table like this by using the query, whatever I'm going to share in the Telegram group. So I given the employee underscore main table structure, and I given some records for our easy understanding. So please create the table and insert the data by using those queries. And please change the database name. And I given the database name as a sample QT. So please give your database name.
Sir, is there any capping for the dataset creations, like 1, 2, 3, like that, or we can create any number of datasets?
Datasets, you can create any number of datasets, no issues.
Okay, okay.
But one sincere advice, and after completion of all the practice, please try to delete the data from the data sets or try to drop the tables. And once your practice is going to complete, definitely no need to have the data, right? You can drop the table. Otherwise, what is going to happen? You are storing the data into the BigQuery storage, so they are going to charge the money, but it won't charge much, and because we are dealing with the only 10 records or 20 records. If you don't want to waste that money, also please drop the databases and please drop the tables on top of your BigQuery.
Okay.
So hope all of you created the tables and inserted the data. So please see here once. So I'm running the query here on top of the employee main table. Any guesses why we are getting the data randomly? After inserting the data in the sequence order, we given the data as part of inserting what we given it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this order, we given the data. But after inserting the data, if you run the query, please run the query select star from sample QT employee main table. If you are going to run the query, we can able to see the data in the random order. Any guesses? What is the reason from your side? Why we are getting the data in the random order compared to our inserted order?
As we are inserting columnar level, it will take.
It will splitting the data and loading. Is that the reason?
Yeah, we can able to say indirectly, internally, what is going to happen here is it is going to perform the distribution operation, and which is nothing but as part of loading the data, whole data will be loading in the single disk, and the data is loading into the multiple disk.
Multiple.
In the collapse, your data is going to store into the multiple disk in parallel. At the same time, as part of retrieving, what will happen? Your data is retrieving in parallel from the multiple disks. As part of doing this operation in parallel, your data is not displaying in the sorted order. Your data is coming in the random order, because as part of loading, your data is loading in the random way. As part of retrieving also, your data is retrieving in the random way. For that reason, in the BigQuery, whenever we are going to give the queries like this, Andy, you are going to see the data in the random way compared to the order of insertion into your database, into the BigQuery system. Okay, but that's a different topic. Now, if you observe here, we are going to get the data like this. Now, my requirement is for all these salaries, I want to populate the rank values. And so for that reason, what I'm doing here is I'm giving the query select EAD comma ename comma DAD comma. I'm giving rank function. After rank, just we are adding the over clause. Within the over clause, we are giving order by. After that, I'm giving sal ascending order. So what I'm doing is simply I'm giving the rank function, and on the rank function we are given the order by clause. I'm giving the sal and I'm giving the ascending order. This is the way I'm going to frame the query. Just I will try to run this query. Just for understanding what I will do here is I will apply the order by clause on salary column in the ascending, because your data is coming in the random way. Okay. If you observe here, Andy, so I given the order by clause in the select statement because I want to display the data in the proper way for to explain to you. So here I given the order by salary ascending order. Your data is sorting based on the ascending order. Here, what is the rank values we are getting? We are getting it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because for the lowest value it is given the rank equal to 1 because in the rank function we given it as a rank over order by salary ascending. Okay. Now, for example, just I will give a alias name here like R1. Now, instead of ascending, I'm giving it as a descending. I am running the second query. So don't worry, after completion of the class, I will share all the queries and try to understand what I'm doing here. So in the second query, what I'm doing is I'm giving the same rank function. In the rank function, again, I'm giving the order by salary column. But this time what I'm giving? I'm giving the descending order. Now, if you observe here, what is happening? For the highest salary, it is taking the value as a 1. And for next highest salary, it is taking the value as a 2. For next highest salary, it is taking the value as a 3. That is the way you are going to get the data. Whenever we are given the descending order, for a highest salary, it is given the value as a 1. Whenever we are given the ascending order, what is happening here? For the lowest salary, it is given the value as a 1. Okay. Now, in that way, we need to understand when we need to give the ascending order, when we need to give the descending order by depending on the requirement. Now, for example, my question is like this, Andy. I want to get the employee details. Who is having the least salary? Now, tell me how we need to frame the query.
Least salary, right?
Get employee details.
Ascending order.
Who is having least salary? Any guesses?
Yeah, the same above query.
Is equal to 1.
I am taking the same above query just one more time. Okay, what next?
Condition where.
What's the condition?
Where R is equal to 1.
Where R1 is equal to 1. Now, see here, actually, whenever we are given the ascending order, what is happening here? For the least salary, it is given the rank value as a 1 and D. Now, my requirement is I want to get the first least salary value from the table. That's the reason we are going to apply the condition called as a where R1 is equal to 1. But if you observe here, this query will throw the error. We'll see. What is happening? It is given the error saying that unrecognized name R1.
Alias
okay.
is not taken.
And one more thing here is you need to understand. Tell me, as part of this query, we are applying the condition on the normal column or we are applying the condition on top of your Windows function column? We are applying the condition on top of your Windows function column. And if you remember earlier, we discussed about where clause. We discussed about having clause. What is the difference between where clause and having clause? If you want to apply the conditions on top of the normal columns, we need to go for the where clause. If you want to apply the conditions on top of the aggregate columns, we need to go for the having clause. Now, in this requirement, is it a normal column or aggregate column or any other type of the column?
Other type of column.
It's not an aggregate column, it's not a normal column. And this is the column we are deriving by using the Windows function. Whenever you want to filter the data on top of your window functions, and here we are introducing one more clause, which we can able to call it as a qualify. I will add that here. So we are introducing one more clause called as a qualify clause. Where clause for normal columns and having clause for aggregate columns. And coming to qualify, we can able to say, if you want to apply the conditions on top of the window functions, then we are going to use the qualify clause only. So in this query, instead of using the where or having, what we are applying the qualify R1 is equal to 1. Now this query will execute without throwing any error. See, we are getting output for 10,000. That is the least salary in the table only. For that salary, whatever the employees we are having, that data we are getting on top of your output screen. Now, in the same way, my requirement is I want to get the employee details who is having the highest salary. You try to give the answer what we can do. We can use the same query one more time.
In order by descending order.
Yes, correct. In order by, just I'm giving it as a descending order. So this is the way we can able to frame the query, and with that we can able to get the highest salary employee data. See, we are getting the 70,000, and that data we are getting on top of your output. Okay. Now, just I will give one more requirement. You try to give the answer, Andy. I want to get employee details of who is having highest salary and least salary. I want to get both the records. Highest salary employee data I want to get, and I want to get the least salary employee data. Might be till now you can able to feel that all these are very simple. That's the reason I'm giving the one more requirement like this, Andy. I want to get data for highest salary data. At the same time, I want to get data for the least salary employee data also, as indirectly as part of this requirement. How many records we are expecting? One record or two records? I want to get two records. One is for highest salary and other one is for the lowest salary, Andy. Now tell me how we need to frame the query here.
The two queries we can union.
Okay. Any other answers?
Sometimes we
In the
can
same,
apply
in the
rank
same,
function, sir.
in the same rank function can be do with
Yeah,
the
but-
alias names.
In the same rank function, you want to do this activity. Okay, tell me how we can do this activity in the same rank function. You want to give the one more function here. Offline people, you also try to give the answer. So how we can able to achieve this requirement?
Rank over order by ascending one time we can have, sir. We can have the aliases R1.
Yeah, I added that one already. So for ascending,
Second
I
one
given
we
the
can have, okay,
Hmm.
rank over order by salary descending as order to R2.
Yeah, we'll do one thing on this. So please take it as assignment. Please do in your systems. Already I given the table data. I have already given the table structure. In your system, you are having the table structure and data. So please take it as assignment. I will give 2-3 minutes of time. Please try to do this activity. And if you got the solution, please ping in the chat. Only to me. Don't ping it for everyone, Andy. Only ping it to me. I want to get highest salary data and lowest salary data by using the within the same query. Apply your analytical skills and try to get the answer. If anyone got the answer, offline people, please let me know. Online people, please ping me in the chat. Sorry, come again. 1,7. You know 7 records are there, but I don't know how many number of records are there. Then how you can give? Because you know 7 records are there, so you are giving it as a R1 in 1,7. For example, in my table, I'm having the lakhs of records. Then how you can able to give the information? It's not possible, right? I need a generic tool. So someone is saying that we can give it as a R1 in 1,7. That will applicable for this table only, because in this table you are having the 7 records. But if my table is having 1 lakh record, then we cannot able to create these things, right? So then we cannot able to give like that. Sorry? Yeah, write the query and try to give the answer. Is it working if you are given the union? Qualify? Okay, just we'll see here and so it's very simple thing. So someone is already given the answer online, and offline also someone given the answer. Okay, so actually we can able to simply apply the union and so why we can able to go for the union? Because I want to get the highest salary data and I want to get the least salary data. Before this topic, what we discussed? Already we discussed about how we need to get the least salary data and how we need to get the highest salary data. Now what I'm asking, I want to combine both the records. So how we can able to combine the two queries output? Just by using the union. Nothing is rocket science here, and it's very simple thing. Just by applying the union, you can able to achieve the requirement. Just what I'm going to do here is, I'm applying this one, then I'm giving union all. I think union is not working here, so give it as a union all, then give the second query. So if I'm going to run this, we are going to get the output like this.
Sir, qualify, we are having and as well.
Yeah, you can apply, yeah.
And
It's a normal where clause only, so you can apply AND operator or OR operator, anything. But instead of that, we are giving it as simply qualify. Instead of where we are giving the OR, we are giving the qualify. That's it. Okay, if you see here, so this is the query we can able to frame, and with this query we can able to get the highest salary data, and we are going to get the lowest salary data. Very simple thing, Andy. Just thing is nothing but we need to apply the union all, because I want to combine the output of two queries into the single output. So whenever you want to combine the data vertically, what we can do here, simply we can go for the union all. Okay, and someone given the answer in the online people like this. So if you want, what we can do, we can able to give the query like this also, Randy. So we are giving the descending rank 1, ascending rank 2. In the qualify class, they are giving it as a rank 1 is equal to 1 or rank 2 is equal to 1. What it means indirectly? You want to get the highest salary data, or I want to get the lowest salary data also. For that reason, this is the way also we can able to frame the query. Either by using the union operator, we can able to achieve the requirement. Otherwise, in the qualify, apply the OR operator. With that also, we can able to apply the requirement. We can able to achieve the requirement. So this is the way we can able to frame the query to get data for both the highest salary and lowest salary data. Now tell me how I can able to get the 100th highest salary. Same query or different query? Same query. What's the modification? Just give it as a R1 is equal to 100. If you want to get the 1000 highest salary, give it as a where R1 qualify R1 is equal to 1000. By using all such kind of things, we can able to get any kind of highest salary by using our SQL statements. And this is the way simply we can able to understand about the rank function. Now here my one more requirement is like this. From each department, I want to get highest salary data or highest salary employee details. So try to understand the requirement one more time. So here, what is my requirement? From each department, I want to get the highest salary employee detail. That is the requirement. Now tell me any modifications we need to perform on top of the queries.
Yes, we have to do the partition by.
So see here, actually, if you want to achieve this kind of requirement, what we can do here is same query we can able to reuse it only, but here I'm giving the different syntax. We have to give the same rank function over order by sal descending. This is the one we discussed earlier. Now what we can do here is in the same over clause only, we are introducing the one more keyword called as a partition by. Don't confuse with this partition by with our partitioning concept only. That is separate. That partitioning coming when as part of loading the data. Here what we are doing? We are retrieving the data by using the Windows function. So here don't compare this partition by with that partition by, don't get any kind of confusion. This is completely different. In the Windows function, whenever you want to deal with the group data, then we are going to apply the concept called as a partition by. But tell me, as part of using the aggregate functions, if you want to deal with the group data, what we applied? Group by using the group by, you can able to group the data. In the same way within the Windows functions only, whenever you want to group the data, then what we can able to apply? We can able to apply the concept called as a partition by. This is the syntax we need to provide. Partition by column name. Okay. Now you try to give the answer as per the syntax. What is the rank function we need to provide? Rank over partition by which column? For every department, I want to get the highest salary, so I'm giving it as a department ID. After that, order by Sal. I'm giving descending order. This is the way simply we need to modify the query. With that, in every department, you can able to get the highest salary information. I will write the query first here. Same query I'm using and just I'm adding it as a partition by. Okay, just I'm running this query here. But tell me, in all these queries, if you observe here, we are applying the order by clause at the end of the query. Why we are applying the order by clause? Is it mandatory? In all these queries, if you observe at the end of the query, we are applying the order by clause. Is it mandatory? At the end of the query, I'm asking, not in the over clause.
Not mandatory.
It's not mandatory, but why we are applying? Because in the BigQuery, whenever we are giving any kind of select statement, your data is coming in the random order. For understanding, it is taking some lot amount of time. That's the reason only for understanding our output queries, we are applying the order by clause. And don't assume that whenever we are given the rank function, we have to give the order by clause at the end of the query. Don't think like that. Whenever we are given the rank function, we have to give the order by clause. But where we have to give the order by clause? In the over, we have to give the order by clause. At the end of the query, if you want, you can give it. Otherwise, you can remove it and nothing is going to happen. But if I'm not going to give the order by clause here, what is happening? In the output, you are going to see the data in the random order. For understanding, it is taking more amount of time. That's the reason only I'm giving the order by clause at the end of the query. Okay. Now just I'm going to run this query. By applying the partition by, we are running this one and partition by department ID. Okay, if you observe here, total we are having the 7 records in the table. Out of 7 records, we are having the 10 department. In the 10 department, what is happening? We are getting the rank values as a 1, 2, 3. Again, in the 20 department, what's happening? Again, we are getting the output as a 1, 2, 3 and D. In the 30 department, we are getting output as a 1. Indirectly, what's happening? In every department, it is going to perform the ranking operation. Earlier, on whole table, it performed the ranking operation. Now, because of applying the partition by, what's happening here? For every department, it is going to perform the ranking operation. With that, for every department, you are going to get output as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and D. But is it our requirement? I want to get the highest salary data for each and every department. Now, in this query, what's the modification I need to perform? Just I need to give the qualify clause. Qualify R1 is equal to 1. With that, what will happen? In every department, whatever the first highest salary data we are having, that data we can able to get in the output. Just I'm running this. See, we are having the 3 different departments and 10 department, 20 department and 30 department. In every department, whatever the highest salary we are having, we are getting all the data on top of your output. Indirectly by using the rank function, you can able to do the ranking at the table level, or we can able to do the ranking at a particular group level also by depending on the requirement. Now, finally, what is the syntax of the rank function? Complete syntax. This is the complete syntax and the rank of over, partition by and order by. Now, by depending on the requirement, we can give only order by clause, or we can apply the combination of partition by plus order by also. By depending on the requirement, we can able to change the rank syntax. With that, we can able to achieve our requirements. Okay, this is the one of the window function we are having in our BigQuery. In the same way, we are having the few more functions and we are having the dense rank and we are having the sum function. Tell me why we are calling sum function as a window function. Any guesses? sum also is a kind of a Windows functionality, because here we are giving sum over, within the over we can able to apply our order by clause or anything. So like this, we are having the some other window functions. By using the dense rank also we can able to get the ranks. Immediately we will ask the question, what's the difference between rank and dense rank? That we'll discuss in the tomorrow session. And in the same way, so far we discussed about the sum function as part of our aggregate functions. Now see, for example, here my requirement is, I am having data like this. Now I want to perform the sum operation by considering current record plus next record. This is the way I want to perform the sum operation. Try to understand here, Andy. Am I asking to do the sum operation for all the records, or I am asking to do the sum operation for particular records? Current record plus next record. Now you tell me, for this one, what is the value we are expecting? Current record plus next record. What will happen? I want to get output as a 3000. Next record?
Okay, 3000 plus 5000.
Next record? 7000. Next record 4000 plus 5000. I want to get output as a 9000. Next one 11,000. Next one 13,000. Next one 15,000. What about last one? Next no record. So I want to get the same 8,000 as a output. Indirectly, what I'm doing here? Am I doing the complete sum on the salary column, or current record plus next record? We are doing the summing operation. We are doing the only current record plus next record, and indirectly what we are doing? We are limiting number of rows to perform summing operation, or we can able to say we are doing summing operation for particular window. Will you agree? Particular window. What is that window? Current plus next record. Again, next record, current plus next record. In that window only I want to perform the summing operation. To perform that, here we are going to use the same sum function, but other than sum function, here we need to use the over clause. By using the over clause, we can able to achieve the requirement. Sometimes we are going to get the requirements also like this: current record plus next record plus next record. Indirectly, you want to sum the current record with next two records, and whenever we are having such kind of requirement, or whenever you want to perform the summing operation at the window level, then we need to go for the window function. All these examples we'll discuss as part of our tomorrow's session. First, I will copy all these queries here.
So the sum will be also discussed tomorrow, sir?
Yes, correct, Andy.
Okay.
Because always 115. In the tomorrow session, we'll discuss about dense rank, and also we'll discuss about the sum function, how we can able to utilize the sum function as a window function. That topic we are going to cover as part of our tomorrow session. And whatever the queries I showed you on the BigQuery console, and I copied all those queries into our notes. Please do the practice for these queries. With that, in the tomorrow session, mostly in the first 30 minutes, we'll discuss about Windows functions. With that, we can able to complete our database concepts, and we can able to complete our BigQuery. And with that, from tomorrow onwards, we'll start discussing about a new topics. Okay. And morning, I want to give you a notice, right? So this is the notice, Andy. First one, from batch 18 and batch 19. If anyone not completed one-on-one sessions, please available here. Please stay here. I can able to say. Please stay here. From 2:30 onwards, I will take one-on-ones, and I want to complete this activity by today only. So please plan for that. So if for anyone, batch 18 and batch 19 people, for anyone, if it is not completed one-on-one session, if you want to have the one-on-one session, please stay here. I will go to home and I will come back by 2:30 only. From 2:30 onwards, so I will take the one-on-ones for the pending people. This is first thing. Second thing, from batch 18 and batch 19. If any online folks are pending, yesterday I taken the one-on-one for the online people also, around for 10 people, I taken the one-on-one. Still, if anyone is pending, if any online people are pending, please inform to admin team. They will call and let you know at what time you can connect with me. This is for 18 and 19 batches only. Now, other than 18 and 19, other than 18 and 19 batches, if anyone want to have one-on-one with me. Please register your names with admin team. Okay, with that I can able to understand how many people are waiting for the one-on-one from the other batches, and with that I can able to plan my activities. Please do these activities by today evening. So this registration is not for the agreements or other things. That is only for one-on-one. Other than 18 and 19 batches, I think we are having the 14 batch people, 15, 16, 17, multiple batch people are here in the online or offline. And from those batches, if anyone want to have the kind of one-on-one session with me, please give your name to the admin team. With that, I can understand how many people are looking for the one-on-one, and with that, I can able to plan. Okay, this is one thing. And next thing, coming to mock interviews, and this weekend mock interviews. Whomever interested to attend the mock interviews, please give your names to admin team. This activity also please complete by today evening. Okay, online people you can call to the admin team, and so you can call to Manisha or Divya, and you can give your name. And offline people directly can go there and you can give your names. So with that, what will happen is I can understand how many people are going to attend mock interviews. Why I need to understand? Because I need to plan it. And if 10 people or 20 people or 30 people, based on that, I will plan this activity for 1 day, or I will plan this activity for 2 days. And for example, if 30 people want to attend the mock interviews, for all the 30 people, I cannot able to complete within 1 day. So definitely it will take the 2 days of time. For the planning purpose, I need this information. Whomever interested to attend the mock interviews, please give your name to the admin team. So with that, I can understand how many people are planning to attend. And this is applicable for all the folks, and not only for 18 and 19. Whomever want to attend the mock interviews, please give your name to the admin team. They will give the list of the names to me. If it is 10 or 20 or 30, based on that, I will plan myself. If it is only 10 people, I will complete it in 1 day. If it is more than 20 or more than 15 people, then I will make it as per the 2 days. And at the same time, if you can give the names, I will give the slots to you. For example, if 20 people are given the names, and for 18th person, I will give the slot. So you need to come and attend the mock interview on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. Like that, I can able to give the slot. But when all these things can possible, once you are going to share the information to whomever want to attend, please share your information to the admin team. With that, I can able to perform all these kind of activities in the planned way. Otherwise, what will happen? Everything will mess up one day. So come to Saturday, all the people will come. People will fight. I want to go first. I want to go first. So with that, some messy things will happen. That's the reason. Please enroll your names with the admin team by today EOD. Tomorrow, I will take the names from them and I will give the slots. Accordingly, you can come and attend the mock interviews. Here, am I given the option to you to skip the mock interviews? I'm not given the option to you. Please try to attend. All the people attend the mock interviews. With that, what will happen? You can assess yourself how much you understood so far, and you can understand what kind of questions we are dealing as part of your interviews. And one more thing, you can able to overcome any kind of nervous feelings or any kind of tension feelings, such kind of things you can able to overcome by using this kind of mock interviews. And don't think that I'm an experienced person, no need to attend the mock interview. I know you are an experienced person, but you are the experienced person in the other technology, not in the BigQuery or GCP. And that's the reason everyone treat yourself as a fresher. Don't think I'm the 7 years experienced person, 10 years experienced person. Don't think like that. Everyone treat yourself as a fresher. My sincere advice, please attend these mock interviews without missing. With this mock interview, you can assess yourself. For example, in the mock interviews, you are not given the answers properly. What will happen? Will I scold you or will I hit you? No, right? Just I will give the feedback, and I will give the feedback. You are lagging in this area, or you are lagging in this area. With that, in the next mock interview, you can able to improve yourself, Andy. So don't think that so sorry is going to deal differently if I'm not going to give the proper answers. Don't think like that, Andy. Why we are conducting the mock interviews? Just to share the feedback, okay, how you are giving the answers, or if you are given the answers as a single line answer, I will explain how to give the answers as part of your interview process. To understand all this information, please attend the mock interviews. It's my sincere request, Andy. Saturday and Sunday, mostly we are going to have the mock interviews. That's the reason. Please nominate your names with the admin team. With that, I will give the slots to you. With that, please come and attend the mock interviews. Any questions on this?
Sir, for online people, you will...
For online people also, please give your names to the admin team, Andy. When you are given the name to the admin team, please mention you are the online person. So with that, I will plan.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Even
mock interviews, we will conduct both the GCP concepts and SQL
all
parallelly.
everything. So I'm going to conduct it for GCP, SQL, and Compute Engine, and GCS. And at the beginning, if you remember, we discussed about cloud features. We discussed about cloud computing. All these topics, whatever the topics we discussed so far, and for all these topics, I'm going to conduct the mock interviews. Don't think that only
Can't
BigQuery.
we split-
Sorry, I'm including BigQuery also. Don't think that only BigQuery or only GCP or only SQL and whatever the question coming into my mind, I will ask those questions. But those questions are related to topics which are completed so far. Is it clear? Yeah, somebody is asking other question. Please
Can't
continue.
we do separately, right?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. Can you please repeat?
Can't we do SQL separate and
No,
this
I-
GCP concepts?
No, I don't want to do it separately. I
It
want to do
takes-
it combined.
Yeah, okay. Sir.
For all the
And we
topics I'm
also
planning.
have SQL. Yeah, and in SQL we also have a few concepts like stored procedures, triggers,
Those are not required.
functions,
That's the reason we didn't discuss. Those are not required.
transactions, not required for
Not required.
this cloud data engineering.
Yes, correct.
And what about this primary key and foreign key, sir?
Yeah, those are also not required, but I will cover whenever I'm having some free time. It's not a
Okay,
big
sir.
topic, so we can complete the topic within 5 minutes. So I'm looking for the time. So whenever I'm getting some time, I will cover that. No issues.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so, sir, actually, this BigQuery and SQL are like having maximum topics. Yes, we can get that. But what about the remaining, like how it will be covered? Because we are having only minimal time, right? You told like by end of the September or mid of the September it will be completed.
Yeah, how
There
many
are
days we're
lot-
having? Still 30 days we're having, only. So don't worry. From the
Okay.
topics perspective, don't worry. And I will take care of everything.
Because we are expecting the same way which you are telling right now.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's
cover
why,
it the
because
same way.
see,
Andy.
sometimes
No,
we
one second.
PDF.
So I'm going to cover it in the same way. From the technical side, don't worry. That's the thing I'm telling you.
Yeah, really, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
So, sir, like for the one who you haven't
Yeah, just one
interested, so
second.
we have
No.
to.
Just one second. Offline people, if you don't have any kind of questions, we can leave for the day. And whomever want to have the one-on-ones, please stay. I will be come back by 2:30, and from 2:30 onwards, I can able to meet with you folks. Okay. Online people, you also, if you don't have any questions, you can drop. And whomever having the questions, please stay. Please continue.
Sir, one-to-one interaction ఎవరితో అయితే అవ్వలేదో వాళ్ళు